What's up everyone? It's Dave Gordon from Both Lighting USA, and today we're going to take a look at a fixture overview and all of the settings of our Splash X BI moving head. Let's do it. So the Splash X is a BI moving head, and what that means is it has these individual beam diodes that can fan out and make really, really cool patterns. But not only that, if those beams are together, that's also a wash fixture. This can be a wash mover as well as a effect mover or an eye candy mover. You see right now it's in its wash mode, and then it flips and it does the BI mode. So it has both, and it's super, super bright. There are 7 40-watt LEDs in here, 40-watt LEDs, super bright, super powerful, and especially in a room where you don't have haze. Of course, we do have haze for this demo, but this thing really shines in rooms that just need a bright wash of light. And then, when you want to switch it up a little bit from just the wash, you've got the effects as well, like the BI panning right here. Let's start by taking a look at the back of the fixture. From left to right, you've got your DMX in and out. These are 3-pin DMX connections. You've also got an on and off switch to power the mover, and you've got a power con in and a power con out. This fixture does not have wireless DMX, and it does not have battery power, but you can always put a Donner dongle or a wireless DMX dongle right on the input. Right now, we just have it wired directly into the sound switch. Now let's take a look at the front of the unit and all of the settings on it. So we have your up, down, left, and right, and OK button on the side here. You just press your OK button to get into the menu, and it typically goes right into the first screen that you're on. So I'm going to press the left button to go back so you can click through all of the different menus here. There are 6 of them, and the first one, as you saw, is the address menu, so you can use the up and down arrows to change your DMX address. You can press OK to confirm. Let's hit the right button, and now the set is highlighted. That's going to be your settings right there. So let's press down into settings and go through each of the options. First up is your run mode. So if you're using this with Sound Switch or Wolfmix or any sort of DMX software, you want to keep the DMX mode on, but you've also got a sound active mode and 2 auto modes to work with here. And you can master slave these fixtures together. So if you set this to sound mode and you run a DMX cable from one into the other, it will master slave them together as long as the other one is actually in DMX mode. That's how that works. If you want to master slave without using DMX, your first one should be either in a sound or an auto mode, and your second one should be in DMX mode so that it's receiving signal. Heading down, the next setting here is for DMX mode only. That's your channel mode. You have 58, 42, and 30 channel mode. We're currently running it in 30 channel, but if you do up it to 58 channels, you actually have individual control of each of the 7 diodes. Invert, pan, and tilt is for if you're only programming one fixture. You can invert the other one so that it does a cross pattern with the first one. So you have that. Invert, pan, and tilt on and off. You've also got Hall and encoder correction. Now this is important. This you want to keep on at all times. This is for if you hit the mover, if you bang the mover with your hand or something and you push it out of place, it will automatically head back to its own spot. Let me give you a little example here. If I just give this mover a tap right here and I push it in the wrong spot, it knows that it's in the wrong spot and it moves itself back. So that's going to be your Hall and encoder correction. Always keep those on. Moving down, signal keep. This is what happens if you lose DMX signal. So if you have this on, that means that whatever last DMX function that the controller gave before it disconnected, it will freeze on that. So wherever it was pointing, whatever color or gobo it was shining, it will keep on that instead of option 2, where this would be off. This would be blackout. So if you lose DMX signal, it just completely blacks out the fixture. I personally like to keep signal keep on because then it doesn't, if you had some sort of malfunction or your wireless DMX cut out for a minute, it's not blacking out the fixture completely. Moving on here, you have your screensaver. So if you have your screensaver on, this screen will auto dim after you're not using it for just a few seconds. You also have invert screen, and when it's set to auto, that means if you hang the mover upside down, it will actually flip this display screen for you. If you have it on off, it'll stay regular, and if you have it on, it'll flip the screen manually for you. So let's bring that back to auto. It knows that we are in here facing up, so it stays upright. Update slave, this is actually your master slave on and off. So not only do you want DMX pressed in at the top, you also want this update slave set to on so that one can act as the slave and one can act as the master. Moving down, you've got your language. You've got your dimmer curve, and we just recommend that you keep it on dimmer curve 1, but you do have multiple other options to check out. We like dimmer curve 1, and you also have your dimmer speed, which you always want to keep on fast, because if you strobe your mover and you have it on normal, it's going to do a fade instead of a strobe, so you definitely want to keep this on fast. Load default is just your reset. If you want to reset all of these settings to normal, you can, but I will warn you guys, if you press load default, the default language will change to Chinese, and you're going to have a hard time switching it back to English, so you may want to be really careful about the load default button. And there we go, we're back at the top. Let's hit the left button to go back into our next menu. I'm going to press the right, and now we have your manual settings. So your manual right here is if you want to create a static look without any sort of DMX controller or any auto mode. Let's say you just want to point it in one direction, you want it to be white and nothing else. You can do that right here. You can manually set your pan, your tilt, your zoom, every setting of this feature you can test out. Technically, you can do a mover test in here, make sure everything's working, because you have individual control of everything. Heading back over this calibration menu right here, there's a password here, and we actually don't know the password. This is just from the factory. You should never have to use this calibration, so don't worry about that. The reset button, of course, over here, this will change the language as well. So if absolutely necessary, if you've got an error code, you can reset it. You will have to go back into your settings here and scroll down to change your language, which is right here. And finally, after the reset button, we've got the note, which just has some general information about the fixture. This tells you every single channel and what it's running right now. So if you really need to get in here and see some information, you've got it right here. Inside of reset info, it'll tell you if you've got an error. And you do also have this error light right here. So if you've got an error, you can see it over there. Let's head back out, and if you back out all the way, you will see your main display, which tells you your DMX channel, the temperature of the unit, and what mode you're in.